What's up, guys? Welcome to MD's new video game overload. This is a new series that I'm starting where I talk about new games that are going to be coming out that I haven't talked about and what I think about it, or just my thoughts about it. Am I going to get it or what? I'm going to try to limit maybe 3 to 4 video games per video. If you're wondering why I changed the angle of the camera and all that, it's because I thought, why not include images and stuff like that so you could have some fun watching some images. Just go with it. So let's get this started. So the first video game I'm going to talk about is Batman Arkham Origins. I've been dying to talk about this game since I'm a huge fan of the Arkham games. I've played the previous 2, so when I heard about this one, I wasn't surprised because I had heard that they were already in the works for another Arkham game, but I was kind of surprised when it comes to specific details. One of the major things that jumped out was that Rocksteady is not working on this Batman game. What? I mean, not that Rocksteady's like the best developer ever and they're the only ones that could do Batman justice, but we're kind of used to them already, and we know they could do a good job because they've done it with the previous 2 Batmans. So it's just kind of like throwing us in fresh water. This is a new developer, and it's still Arkham related, and it's just like the May issue of the Game Informer magazine, I think it was issue 241, had a really awesome cover with Batman and all that, so I was excited when I saw that. But they have this huge article in there about the game and what they're working on and about the new developer and all that, and it kind of eased my uneasiness. It wasn't too bad. I wasn't like, oh my god. I really wanted to know more. So that article really explains a lot of things, and it sheds a little bit of light as to who these people are and where the game is going. So far the confirmed platforms for this game are the PS3, 360, Wii U, and PC. And it's set for a fall 2013 release date. So Warner Brothers created this new developer, Warner Brothers Montreal, and they gave this project to them. They were created back in 2010, so they're not a bunch of newbies. Especially when it comes to Batman, they did work on the Armored Edition for the Wii U, and they did this to pretty much get familiarized with what Rocksteady did with the Unreal Engine 3. Rocksteady did offer a lot of guidance to Warner Brothers Montreal when making this game, but they kind of wanted to leave the reins to them and let them make this game their own. They also have the help of a comic book writer, Eric Holmes. So as the title suggests, this is a prequel. It's not based off the comics, but it is inspired by the comics Batman Year One and Legends of the Dark Knight. So in Batman Arkham City was built over old Gotham. And this game takes place before Arkham City was built over old Gotham. So we are going to be seeing old Gotham as it used to be, where civilians actually used to live there. And we're also going to be seeing new Gotham, which is going to be pretty interesting because there's going to be higher, like big skyscrapers and stuff like that. And you know, when it comes to Batman, I mean, Arkham City was amazing to me because you were actually able to, like, you know, be Batman, jumping from rooftop to rooftop and stuff like that, using like your grappling hook and stuff. So just imagine taller buildings and stuff. So that's going to be really cool. Another thing that I don't think is really a big change is the time or the setting of the environment. It's going to be during Christmas time, so there's going to be a lot of snow and all that. But that's usually the Gotham that we're used to in a lot of things that are Batman based. It's almost always during Christmas time or during the winter. But this time they're really going to be focusing on Christmas themed. So there's going to be Christmas lights and all this stuff. So they're really going for that distorted feeling where it's like this jolly scenery, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on. So the main villain is probably most known by the fans that have read the comics. His name is the Black Mask. So I asked my brother about him since my brother's a huge Batman fan and he has read a lot of the comics and he knew exactly who he was. So he said that he makes a really good villain, and he actually said something about him that actually surprised me. I was like, but there's no way that they're going to be incorporating that into the game for specific reasons, but I won't reveal why. So the gist of the game is pretty much that Black Mask is out to kill Batman. Who isn't? But what he does is that he puts a bounty, like a huge bounty, a fortune, on Batman's head. It says that it spans the DC villains. So that sounds like they are opening the door not only for Batman villains, but for DC villains in general. I don't know, that sounds really interesting that they said that they said DC villains. In the demo, we do see the Penguin and also Deathstroke. Again, a lot of you Batman comic book readers probably know exactly who this is. This is your Boba Fett. Your Batman Boba Fett. But the thing that I found intriguing about this game is that since it is a prequel, we don't know exactly how far back into Batman's career this takes place, but they are saying that Batman isn't as tailored or as experienced as he was in the previous games in Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. They said that Batman does make mistakes, that he doesn't make bad mistakes, but he makes small mistakes that he starts learning from throughout the game. I think that's going to be really awesome to experience in the game, watching Batman not be perfect, that perfect superhero that you know is going to succeed or always kick the bad guys' butt. The whole detective side of the game is returning, and the really interesting thing to me that they said is that they're getting inspiration from the BBC TV show Sherlock. They said that they really liked the modernized detective exploration in that TV show, so they're getting some inspiration off of that. So that's going to be interesting how they're going to incorporate that into a Batman game. All the Bat gadgets return. The combat, they said that they didn't really want to touch it too much because they said that instead of fixing it, they were afraid of breaking it. So what they did was they just added a few things to the combat. I was also happy to read that the Batwing plays a larger role in this game where you could actually use it as fast travel. You can't control it. Unfortunately, I was so excited when I was reading about the Batwing. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Could we control it? No, you can't. It's just used as fast travel or for specific things that Batman needs to do in a specific situation. So the developers are saying that Arkham Origins is a bit more thoughtful and a bit more slow, but not in a bad way. It's more like really focusing on the story and focusing on developing Batman as a character. So all the puzzle solving is still there, whether it's the Riddler challenges they haven't revealed. So besides the actual villains, Batman's also going to be fighting against corrupt cops. They too are going to be wanting to get a piece of that fortune that the Black Mask is setting up. Black Mask is the main drug dealer of Gotham at this point. Jim Gordon is not the commissioner in this game. There's a different commissioner that is actually corrupt. Commissioner Gordon, or Jim Gordon, is actually the captain during this time. But they did make it a point to say that this is not GTA, that Batman's not going to go around killing cops and stuff like that, because Batman doesn't do that. But he will fight cops that are coming against him and attacking him. So there is claims that Batman Arkham Origins will have multiplayer in it. I didn't read it in this article, I read it online. I'm not sure if it's been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that it is confirmed. It really doesn't surprise me. A lot of people were kind of pissed off about this. A lot of people were happy about it. When it comes to multiplayer, I really kind of stand off to the sides and say, I've never been a big multiplayer type of person, but if you are, if people enjoy it, whatever, as long as it's optional. But I was thinking about that. I was like, how are they going to do it? Is one person going to be Batman and everybody else is going to be the thugs? Is there going to be different superheroes maybe? That would be cool. Like different Batman superheroes, like bring in Robin, bring in freaking Catwoman or something like that. I mean, Catwoman's always been kind of like on the fence, but whatever. If you guys know more about that, let me know in the comments. So now we move on to the next game, which is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. The confirmed platforms so far are PS3, 360, Wii U, PC, and PS4. So when I heard that they were making another Assassin's Creed, like right after Assassin's Creed 3, I was like, now I know that Assassin's Creed has done this in the past. They shoot out games like one after the other. Now it's not like they're back to back, but there pretty much will be a year of distance between Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4. And this is just when it comes to release date. When it comes to development time, Ubisoft does claim that they've been working on Assassin's Creed 4 since 2011. They said that they were working on both games, Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4, like pretty much at the same time with different teams. Okay, I could believe that, but it's still, it just seems too soon to me. This information I read an article in the Game Informer magazine, the April issue, which was 240. Reading this article almost made me feel like Assassin's Creed 3 was a test. I did a review on Assassin's Creed 3. If you're wondering what I thought about it, I'll put an annotation somewhere around here so that you could go see that if you want to. I've always wanted to see a pirate game, like where you get to command your own ship and all that. And Assassin's Creed 3 did it well. They did it well, but it wasn't the focus. Where I was like, if they made a game that was just about this. That's what they're doing with Assassin's Creed 4. And it just that makes it exciting to me. I'm just like, okay, forget it. Whatever. They're putting 2 games out that were pretty much a year apart, but they claim that they've been working on this game for a little bit longer, and they've learned from Assassin's Creed 3. Ubisoft is saying that they're leaving enough leverage room at the end of the game, when they're finished making the game, leverage room to clean up all the glitches. They're promising that this game will not have as many glitches and hair pulling that Assassin's Creed 3 had. And they also said that they have improved and expanded on a lot of the mechanics of Assassin's Creed 3. You all know, just by looking at the pictures and everything, just by reading the title, that this game is focused on pirates and on ships sailing the sea. So Assassin's Creed 4 takes place before Assassin's Creed 3 and actually stars Connor's grandfather, Edward Kenway. For those of you that have read the Assassin's Creed novels, you know who this is, because he did make an appearance in the Assassin's Creed novel Forsaken. I haven't read them. I hope to read them one day, but not at the moment. But he does make an appearance. So he's a pirate captain, and just like every other Assassin's Creed game, you do bump into historical figures. And this one you bump into people like Blackbeard, who is in the teaser, the first teaser of the game, and also people like Calico Jack and Charles Vane. As different as this Assassin's Creed is going to be, the familiarities are always there. It always has to do with going back to a historical event that spans a specific amount of years. This one's from 1715 to 1725. They say that they're taking inspiration from specific movies like The Mission, Master and Commander, and even the TV show Deadwood. Now they said that these have nothing to do, or some of these don't have anything to do with pirates, but it is the feeling that they're going for, the tone. And when it comes to the gaming side, they're actually looking to Red Dead Redemption. They want to do to pirates what Red Dead Redemption did to cowboys. So Edward is assassin trained, but they are saying that since he does have those pirate tendencies, that personality, he really doesn't side with either or. So if you're wondering his affiliation, they said that it's not, he's kind of like in the middle. Arr, I be a pirate, no assassin or Templar. Don't ever let me do that again. Some of the features are that it is an open world, and it mostly takes place out in the open sea. There are 50 different land locations that you could explore completely, and every time you sail towards land or that you arrive at some kind of location, there is no load screen, so that you could keep that immersion of sailing to a different land. And you could spot landforms with your spyglass. So if you see land from far away, you're like, let's go explore over there. You would sail there, get off, and explore. It wouldn't be like, oh, you arrived at so-and-so land, load screen. Some of the land locations include hidden coves, Havana, and Mayan ruins. And another thing is that there will be underwater exploration for this one. You also have an apparatus, it's called a diving bell, so you could go deeper. And in the diving bell, you have air, so you could go in there, go underwater, and then if there's treasure or whatever, Edward comes out, picks up the treasure, goes back into the diving bell, and breathes or whatever. And you could actually get attacked by sharks, so it's not like a jolly old swim. You could attack other ships with your spyglass. You could see other ships, and not only could you see them physically, but you could also see their defenses and what they have on board. I think this probably comes with specific upgrades to your ship, because the upgrades do return, and they make a bigger role this time. And actually, you are And actually, you should get all the upgrades early on because it will help you go against bigger ships. So the spyglass helps you see these things and determine whether it's a good idea to attack this ship, if you could even take it, and if the payoff is worth it. And when it comes to Edward, he is the first protagonist in an Assassin's Creed game that can actually dual wield swords. He carries 4 guns at all times, which is pretty crazy. Now I'm going to be mentioning spoilers for Assassin's Creed 3 here, so if you would like to skip this part, I will put a timestamp on here so you could skip. And if you can't see annotations or anything like that, then the spoiler parts will be in black and white, so you could just go ahead and just skip it. So Ubisoft is saying that Desmond's role ended in Assassin's Creed 3. Desmond will not be returning for Assassin's Creed 4. You will actually be playing a different character, but the person that will be representing you in the present is an Abstergo Entertainment research agent. And what he's doing is he's investigating or looking into Edward Kenway through a animus. Now we don't know why, but we kind of understand how, because this Abstergo agent is not related to Desmond. So you might be wondering, how could he be seeing these memories or even looking into Edward Kenway if he's not related to him? Ubisoft says that they promise they went into it lightly in Assassin's Creed 3. And the part where they actually talked about it was in a conversation that Desmond had with his father after he saved him from Abstergo. His father says something about how it was good that he had saved him, but it was probably too late. How they probably got something from him where they could use that, kind of like his DNA or something, what they took from him, and look into these past memories through the animus, whether they have Desmond or any relative of that memory. And also post-game. I didn't really play post-game either, where afterwards you're just like, how am I even playing as Connor when Desmond is gone? You could hear a voice, and I was confused. I was like, what the hell? Who is that? Like, trying to, like, this person was like telling you to do things and like connect this and that, and you're just like, what? And so I just stopped playing. I was like, whatever, I don't know what this is. But what that was connected to what they're talking about, to how they were setting Assassin's Creed 4 up with that. That they were, because after you achieve this whole connection of the animus in post game, you could hear them saying it worked or whatever. You know, we could now whatever. I don't know exactly. It says in the article, but the point is that Abstergo did something, got something from Desmond's father, where they could use the animus and see these memories without an actual relative being there. Everything that was set up at the ending of Assassin's Creed 3 will apply to this game. It is a continuation. That's why it's called Assassin's Creed 4. Lastly, the multiplayer is returning, of course. Assassin's Creed has had multiplayer for a while now, and will also have new modes. And last but not least is a game that I have been dying to talk about, The Wolf Among Us. By Telltale Games, the creators of the Walking Dead video game. The confirmed platforms are PS3, PC, and 360, and it has a release date of summer 2013. This game is actually based off of another comic book called Fables. I'm happy to say that I was introduced to the Fable comic books by Mark Meer, the voice of Commander Shepard. You can't see him, but he's right there. He told me that this was an amazing comic series, and I got the first volume, the first graphic novel, and it is very good. I loved it, so I do recommend it as well. You have my recommendation and the recommendation of Commander Shepard. It's a pretty long series. I don't know how many graphic novels there are, but it's pretty long. I plan on getting them all. The thing about The Wolf Among Us is that it's a prequel. So you don't really have to read the comics to know what's going on. So if you're like, oh no, I've got to read the comics, you don't. But they did make it so that longtime fans of Fable will find it very interesting because it leads up to the first issue of Fables. So you kind of get a better understanding of what's going on, of how different characters got to where they are, and all that good stuff. And for newcomers, it gives them a good place to start in the beginning, before any of the issues. So the gist of Fables is pretty much like the TV show Once Upon a Time. What it is fairy tale characters, not only taken from like Disney or whatever, but taken from different fairy tale stories, like from the Grimm brothers and that kind of thing. Take those characters and put them in real life. Once Upon a Time is pretty much the same concept. You got fairy tale characters in the real world, but it's a much lighter version of Fables. Like, for example, you got Ichabod Crane as the mayor in this game. And you've got the big bad wolf, who you are playing, which really excited me. I was like, yeah, I'm playing as the big bad wolf. What? And his name is Big B Wolf. Big B Wolf, get it? Big bad wolf. No. So they flee here to the real world, and they have to try to act or pretend or look like normal people, who doesn't look like a person, who is like a walking dog, talking pig. They live at what's called the farm, away from society so that nobody would freak out. So Fables is not your happy ending story. It has a dark side to it. And it's very interesting to me because it takes those fairy tale characters that we all know, where you're like, oh my god, that's Snow White, or oh my god, that's Beauty and the Beast. You get that familiarity, and you're kind of shown the different side to it. You're shown that dark side to it. Fairy tales do have that. I mean, Disney has been notorious for taking old school fairy tales that really had a dark side to them and making them happy-go-lucky and like happy endings and all that. For kids, of course. Telltale is working with the creator, Bill Willingham, and also DC Comics. So they're trying to get it as precise as possible, trying to capture the essence of every character. I mean, that's one thing that Telltale did amazing with The Walking Dead, was creating characters, making that character development, and really making you fall in love with these characters and really involving you emotionally. So they're bringing all that back with The Wolf Among Us, but they actually said that they're making it even more this time. They have more of an opportunity when it comes to this because there's more characters and there's not that whole survival concept to it where you have the zombies. In this one, it's more about character relationships, what you have to deal with and what you have to deal with internally with your character. I mean, you're the big bad wolf. You've got this baggage from before, from your previous lands, when it comes to specific characters in now put in one place in the real world. So you've got to carry this baggage, and how you carry it is what the game is all about. Now you might be thinking, so what are we going to be fighting? In The Walking Dead, even though there were zombies, which were pretty much the enemies, the real conflict was between the characters. It wasn't that much about killing zombies. And that's what I loved about that game. It was more about making relationships and how you responded to them and how you kept them and how you nurtured them and that kind of thing. So that's what they're going into. But they do say that they do have action sequences, and they actually improved on them from The Walking Dead, because they said that a lot of people were kind of complaining about the action sequences in The Walking Dead, that you didn't really have that much control over them and you weren't really involved that much in the action sequences or in the combat sequences. But in this one you are, more so than in The Walking Dead. The big bad wolf does fight with different characters. You are more in control of that sequence. Time decisions return. As much as that was a bane to me in the previous game or in The Walking Dead, I'm kind of glad that they do return, because that adds just a different level to the game. As much as you really grow to hate it, you grow to love it as well, because in the end you really feel like you were put in a hard situation, and you didn't like have to sit there and like thinking and like, I'm gonna go online and check. Choice and Consequence is also returning, and now you have to choose from different areas. If you choose to go one area and opposed to another area, in that other area, there's something going on, and you're not participating in it. You're in this other area. So whatever happened over here that you missed because you chose to go over here is going to play out, and you're going to see the consequence of it. They said that they didn't do that with The Walking Dead, so that's a new aspect to this game. And aside from the characters that already exist in the comic series, they're also introducing new characters. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this new series of mine. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next Overload.